gonna tell you how it's supposed to be. I'm gonna be a free man. I'm gonna fight until the end. I'm gonna find the answers here. I'm gonna make it all quite clear. In this world today, we all get betrayed. Just like a brother man, he's got a break his mind. I'm gonna choose the road I take. I'm gonna choose the road to stay. I'm gonna fly with the heavens above. I'm gonna be the chosen one. People tell me how to live my life. Fucking preachers tell me about the afterlife. I'm gonna make it if I can. I'm gonna be down the road. I'm gonna fly with the eagle above. I'm gonna be lonesome dad. I'm gonna find the answers here. Every motherfucker gotta disappear for
Mike Michaels, ladies and gentlemen. Benefit of just Mike and I being on the show, we can just jam out for a while.
Listen, children, to my mind, I am a victim. Well, I'm gonna tell you about the afterlife. I'm gonna tell you about what happened last night. I'm gonna tell you about my insanity.
I love that song. Love that song.
I do too, man. I always have, and it hits me the same way every time.
I always loved singing that song. It was a great song to sing.
I remember like sitting at the control board while you were singing that in the bathroom, man, and like we couldn't see each other because we weren't in a real studio. We were in my apartment, and I just remember getting lost in my mind, man. I was like, if that's not a hit, I don't know what is. And I never said that about anything else. But it catches me the same way every time.
Yeah, me too.
I know I'm super biased.
Right. I think that Nothing Man and
Nothing Man hit me the same way.
Yeah.
I take
and
that back.
Listen to Your Sin. Nothing Man, Free Man, and Listen to Your Sin. I think of the because I think those were the three ones out of the gate. You know, I mean, I'm biased. I think all our shit would still be relevant today once we put it out. We'll see.
Mama Kay always liked Vision. It used to be a song called Concrete and Steel when Mike was in the band, so that's what she still calls it. But she loved the music to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And as she's listening to this, hi, Mom. Love you.
Hi, Mama Kay.
She'll remember Concrete and Steel, which became Vision, which was about Chris having a reoccurring dream of his death at 30 years old.
Right. All the warm and fuzzies.
Stop telling me that story.
You know, which, I mean, in a sense it happened because I ended up having this weird little heart thing on Memorial Day weekend of my 30th year on the planet. So, you know, it kind of still happened in a weird way.
It did.
So yeah. So this is the Chris and Mike show. Obviously, I'm Chris. He's Mike. We are just entertaining one another today. Not sure what happened to our guest, but you know, it's their loss is your gain because I just get the dynamic. Yeah, but yeah, you just get the dynamic duo that is the Chris and Mike show. Coming to you live to 28 countries now, right?
29.
29 countries. Like, go figure that shit out.
I should have looked up how to pronounce this country. It's Malawi.
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 Mawala.
Malawi.
Malawi.
Malawi. Malawi. Yeah.
There you go.
So welcome, Malawi.
Welcome. We're glad you could join us on this
I have a
fine
feeling
Tuesday
it's hot
afternoon.
where
And
you're at.
it's cold where I'm at, dude. I got
No.
long sleeves on.
Malawi.
Yeah.
It's hot where they're at.
Probably. Yeah. No, I'm cold, man. It's like 60 some odd degrees. It's been raining off and on all day. The rain we were supposed to get for
It
like
has
a week
here,
is finally
too.
come. Oh, right on. That's cool.
But where you guys kind of enjoy it because you don't really get to experience a weather change. I sat down at lunch and I looked outside and I was like, son of a bitch. It's winter. It's like Game of Thrones, man. Winter has come.
Winter has come.
Which was my first thought when I looked outside. But, you know, you have to have watched Game of Thrones for that to have made sense.
Right. So did you watch Landman? It came back last night.
Is it just one episode? No, I did not watch it yet.
I only watched one episode. I didn't watch any more because I wasn't sure. But they tried to do...
Let me look.
They tried to do a truth bomb in the beginning.
Yeah.
And you could tell it was forced. Right? Because if you watch season one,
without giving a spoiler, how so?
Okay, so season one, his truth bombs would come random moments during the show, right? Like you wouldn't expect them to be there. They were relevant to the world itself, I thought anyway. Like the power one, the windmills, you know, that they built, how they talked about that, and that entire 16-minute truth bomb. The truth bomb about smoking cigarettes, how a Vietnamese guy can live to be 99 years old and he smokes a pack of cigarettes every single day. So it's not the cigarettes, it's American food, it's the American culture, it's whatever. Those things were like they were written into the script. I thought very unique spots in the storyline that you didn't expect them coming. And
agreed.
So episode one, they lead out of the gate with one, and it's just to me, it just kind of fell short. It's like, I'm expecting this, and it kind of came to here, you know. It's just, there's a gap and that was the only truth bomb in that episode. And so it kind of left me like, okay, that was kind of a drag.
I'll probably watch it. I was torn whether I wanted to wait till the whole thing was out and just binge watch it.
Yeah.
Or watch it an episode at a time. So I chose to watch the debacle of it.
It was still good. It still lived up to the Landman standards that it has, you know. It's just, to me, the truth bomb wasn't necessary for the episode. Because it had nothing. It didn't pertain to anything that the episode embodied.
I have a strange feeling I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah. So Mr. Mike Michaels here shared with me some things, and this is the first thing he shared with me.
Don't do the parenting one, because save that one for last, because I actually want to hear your opinions on a lot of those things.
Well, I'm on the musician one right now.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, why musicians are essential to culture.
Yeah, the last thing I sent you, I think, had to do with parenting. I just wanted you to do that last because there's some things in there I think you're going to find really interesting.
Okay, yeah. So he sent me this thing, and I can't share it for some reason, probably because it's not on the web or something. But why musicians are essential to the culture. And it's not just entertainment, it's part of who we are. Number one, powerful memories. Songs connect us to time, place, and people like nothing else, which is true. Example, right as I read that, top of my head, one of the first songs that ever played, I think on Nikki and I's first date or so, was a song called Somewhere in the Vicinity of the Heart by Shenandoah. They no longer exist. You can't find that song anywhere. It's impossible to find.
I remember the band. I don't know the song, but I know that name.
Yeah. Yeah. So as soon if I hear that song, automatically, I think of Nikki. When we went through our separation from my drinking, I had made her a playlist, because you could still make playlists back then, even though it was on a CD. Stains, It's Been a While, because if you listen to the lyrics of It's Been a While, again, how you interpret the song is what makes it your own, how you know, but in interpreting those lyrics at the time, it was completely relevant to what we were going through with my becoming sober, and just the separation aspect of it, and being apart from each other for those 90 some odd days. So it was very relevant. And still, when I hear that song to this day, I remember that. How about you?
Song, dude. I love
Yeah,
that
it's a good song. Yeah. What kind of powerful memories of music do you have there, Mike Michaels?
Every day. That's my whole life.
Right. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, if one song
I was
common
listening
that
to your
came up-
story and
yeah,
I was
yeah.
trying to share this stupid
Oh.
thing, so I got sidetracked.
You're good.
For me, music is me, man. That's,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, we had this discussion. When I say music is my religion, I mean it. You know, that's what saved my life. And that's what literally makes me hum. You know, I'm in tune with the universe when I've spent enough time not only studying it and playing it, but enjoying it as well. I forgot how to enjoy music for a long time. I took it so seriously as a musician and wanting to be the vehicle that I forgot that I was also the fan, you know?
Oh, nice. That's a nice way
So
to put
within
that.
the last probably, I don't know, 5 years for sure, I've really gone back to just taking the time to sit down and jam, you know, turn my
Nice.
surround sound system on, shut the world out. Yeah.
So you can play your guitar through your home entertainment system?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's
Technology's come a long way, man. Not only can we do a podcast 2,000 miles apart, I can use this little Spark amplifier and I can jam along with my iPad, the MacBook, my television. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's
That's
all Bluetooth.
really cool.
It's super. It is. And the sounds are amazing. So for a musician, these things are not expensive. I was fortunate that a friend of mine's letting me borrow it. Seems in perpetuity at this point, but he has another amplifier, so he's not missing out on anything, but that's way beside the point. These are super cheap. They're like probably $200 to get the kind of sounds that come out of this amplifier when I was 15 to 25 years old, and probably 15 to 50, because these things just came out. You would have had to have spent thousands of dollars. You would have had to have bought a tube amplifier. Remember, I had a Marshall 100-watt head.
Yep.
That was $800 by itself at the time. Those are probably close to $1,800 now because they don't make them anymore. Not that version.
Gotcha.
Then you got to buy a cabinet. It's got 4 speakers in it. If you blow up any of the speakers, which I did on a regular basis, you got to put new speakers in them.
Right.
So you're talking, and then you have to buy all the effects. I had a rack mount system. All that shit cost money, man.
Yeah.
That's why we were poor. Now,
Well,
this little box
same thing.
makes all those sounds.
That's crazy. That's like with the PA system, you know, and then you get a PA system, then I end up getting that minimal vocal.
Explain to people what you as a singer were expected to have, because it wasn't just Chris showed up with a microphone. If you had what he's going to describe to you, you were the bomb. Right?
I don't remember how many channels or heads, whatever you want to call it, but it was a PA system. So I had
It was
the
a
two big
4-channel.
speakers. It's a 4-channel PA system. So I had the 2 big speakers that had stands if you wanted them. I think it had a couple monitors with it.
Took 2 people to carry these speakers. These aren't home stereo speakers.
Yeah, right. So it had the head and the 4 channels, so you could put the vocals, the guitars, the bass, and then I don't know how we did the drums, or if you did the drums. I don't remember that part of it.
We didn't need to because we were all in the same room, and Scott beat the shit out of his drums, so we only had to mic him when we played live.
Right. So
you and
that was the
Rick
cool
went
thing.
through 2 channels, and then I didn't have to mic my guitar either because obviously we were in the same room again.
Yeah. So that's what that was, and that was, I think, back then, I want to say like just under $5,000 with the vocal. I forget what the thing was.
That's the part I wanted you to get to.
Yeah. I forget what because as we evolved, I think it was a couple months into just rehearsals and stuff before we played. you told me about some kind of effects thing, and it wasn't. I never liked having heavy effects, but there's something to have just a nuance of a delay on your voice because it fills some space when you're holding out your notes and screams.
Little reverb.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, a little reverb. So it wasn't. I never went super heavy on the effects because again,
you used a slight reverb and you used a slight delay.
Yeah, just
and you didn't start using a delay until Jason talked you into it at the
right.
Because he's like, I'm going to put a delay on there.
Yeah.
But it was a slapback delay. So you would say something and it would just repeat quickly. It made, what it does is it blends your voice and Tony's probably like, Jesus Christ, here's how you can explain this a lot better. But
well, it's come on the show, Tony.
I know, we're waiting. It just basically blends your voice into chaos, right? Because a live setting, especially the mason jar, was long and narrow.
Yeah.
So he was making sure that you punched through the loud music.
Yeah.
Always want the vocals sitting on top of everything.
Is Jason still around?
No, he died.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I was saying, we need to get Jason on the show. I thought he passed away.
That was he passed away maybe, rest in peace, brother. 2 years before we started this show.
Gotcha. That sucks. He's a good guy. He's a really
he would have done this in a heartbeat, man. He would have remembered every... I would have loved to have heard his reaction when he told us we had one last song and we played an 11-minute epic.
Opus. Intervention Divine.
Chris is like, I got just the song.
I got just the song. Turn around. Intervention Divine. Mike's like, okay. And then he comes up. I remember him coming up to the stage again. like I don't know, maybe 6-7 minutes into it. I don't remember the time, but I remember I'm on the side of the stage rocking out or something. You're playing solo or something. And I look at him. He's like, I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, he's coming.
Just wait. It takes 2 minutes and 15 seconds just to break down the end of the song. Because you got to back it down from how it started.
Right. But he loved that song. So the credibility of that was, don't ever do that again, but fuck, that was a good song. Because it was, that was the heaviest thing we wrote at that time. I think that just because it was poetry. It was from my poetry book. And there was, and my being naive, it's divine intervention. Right. And I always thought it was intervention divine. True story.
Oh, I thought you did that to be clever.
No, I didn't.
I really did all these years.
No, I didn't.
I gave you so much credit. Later. I was like, that's so clever.
Years later, I realized, oh shit, it's divine intervention, not intervention divine.
Guys never tripped on acid.
Yeah.
And he inadvertently wrote one of the coolest titles that we ever had.
Yeah. Yeah. That was I still like that song. Just too bad we don't have that recorded because that'd be epic.
I could remember that for sure.
Yeah, but that'd be hard without Scott, man. Scott drove that thing so...
His dynamics were outstanding.
Yeah. Have we sent the music to Lemoyne yet for Freeman?
Not yet. I'm getting there.
Okay, I was just asking. Hey, Lemoyne. What's up, brother?
I
number
really
2 on why...
do his New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, you should.
I
talked to Gambino today from Velocita Music and Entertainment Agency. He wants us. He really wants us to come. He really wants us to come to Oklahoma in January for the Hard Rock party thing. I told him, I said, we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out if it's viable or not. So he's got something going on. I actually talked to him about a couple hours ago. He's got something going on, actually an hour ago. He's got something going on where he's merging with somebody else. So he's just going to turn into a powerhouse. The guy, if you haven't heard of Velocita and you're in the entertainment industry, Google Velocita. He's a great guy. He's all about just helping musicians get paid and grow their music. He's Dave Nudo. I told you this, right?
Nudo's
Yeah.
Thanks again, Bruce.
And you rock. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and from our advice, he's having Dave Nudo re-record "The Lord of the Devil" so they can release it, and you're going to watch Dave Nudo go.
I'm so proud of that.
I
want to see that song being number one across the board.
Yeah,
I have listened to it so many times. I would be curious, Dave, if you're out there and you're listening and you happen upon this, let Chris know, or one of us, How many times has that thing been played on Spotify since you were on this podcast? Because I'm responsible for a lot of them. I think you only get credit for once a day, but at least once a day, it's me.
Yeah, and I bought it. I bought it off of Apple or iTunes. What are you doing, dog?
Yeah, I have it in my iTunes as well, but I don't ever use that. I always use my playlist. So
you're fine, Dozer. You're fine.
He's
man.
getting credit
I know
for
what you're freaking on.
streaming.
Yeah, you're fine. There's Dozer the dog. Let's see if I can get Dozer the dog in. Why are you shaking, man? What are you tripping on?
He's like, I've never been on a podcast, man. I'm nervous. Jeez. Just saying hi.
No, he's tripping on something. I don't know. We have a ghost, so maybe the ghost is wandering around and freaking him out, man.
Yeah, they see shit we don't, for sure.
Yeah, it could be, because it's not like him to be squeamish. Like
That's why cats always freak me out, because you know they're looking at shit.
Oh yeah, we could tell. He does every now and then. He'll stand up from where he's in the great room. He'll just kind of look in this corner, and that's what he's doing now. So I don't know what the fuck's going on with Dozer.
And I told you, every fiber in my being wants to not believe in any of that shit, but my family encountered that, so I have to.
Well, and see, Skylar, when she was little, when we lived in our first house,
I encountered it multiple times.
Yeah. So I'll tell Skylar's story, and you can tell me one of your stories. So Skylar, I would wake up, I'd hear her talking, and I'd go in her room, and she was standing in the corner talking, like literally having a conversation with somebody. And so later we found out, and she was talking to an old lady. It's like a grandma or something, sitting in a rocking chair. There was no rocking chair. So we asked the neighbor across the street, who was the original owner. He's like, oh yeah, whatever their last name was, Old Man Winter's wife died in the house. And like, oh, okay. So Skylar's talking to the old lady.
So she was having like a conversation, a full-blown conversation?
Yeah.
Oh,
and she went on.
Creepy, dude.
She went on till, I don't know when it kind of left, but she did some weird shit, man. She met one of Nikki's friends, and Nikki's like, oh, this is Ramey. And she's like, oh, hi, Ramey Johnson. And Ramey's like, my last name's not Johnson. Skylar's like, it will be. Like a year later, she got married to a guy named, last name was Johnson.
Wait, back that up. I missed something.
Okay.
There. Start that story over, because.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. So Nikki worked at a bar, and one of her friends at the bar, her first name was Ramey. I don't remember her last name, so I'm not going to, it was a crazy last name, like Ramey Federer.
It doesn't matter. We don't want to do last names anyway.
Right. So we had come into it was at Applebee's Bar and Grill. We came into it one night, and Nikki introduced, I think I brought Skylar with me, and we were sitting at a high top, and Nikki came by, and, she's bartending. So I think Ramey was our server. And so Skylar's like, or Nikki's like, oh, this is Chris, this is Ramey, and Ramey, this is Skylar. And Skylar's like, hi, Ramey Johnson. And Ramey kind of laughed, and she's like, that's not my last name. And Skylar's like, it will be. And a year later, I think, maybe a year later.
How old was Skylar at this point?
We lived at the second house, so 8 or 9, maybe 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there.
That is crazy, dude.
Yeah. And she went on to do stuff like that, to where, she was there with this chick. Megan was watching her. Nikki and I were going out, so we had dropped her off. So Megan was gonna take her back to our house as soon as we left, because we live right down the street. I think it's Megan. I'm not sure. Megan, the firefighter chick. So the phone rang. The bartender at the time answered the phone, and as soon as the phone rang, Skylar looked at Megan and said, "That's my mom." Understand, back then you didn't have cell phones like we do now, so the phones were constantly ringing in a bar. Applebee's, are you open? What time you late? Et cetera, et cetera. Dog is still just standing there stoically looking at the corner.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So now he just walked away. So when the phone rang, and she looked at Megan and said, "Hey, that's my mom." And then the bartender, hey, I think it was Mike, the bartender, like, hey, Applebee's, good afternoon, blah, blah, whatever he said. He looks around the bar. He's like, "Hey, Megan, it's Nikki," holding up the phone. So she called a couple sexes of birth of the babies, for people. She has that site, which is probably, it's somewhere in the family, because Nikki's got a grandmother that, refers to as a witch. Now, she's a Wiccan. She's a white witch. She's not a black witch. She's a good, positive witch. The dog's still fucking freaking me out. So now go ahead with your story.
No, they worship nature. Wiccans.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I've known plenty of Wiccans. I just remain unaffiliated. The house that I live in right now
Okay.
is the quietest house I've ever lived in my entire life. I only had one instance here that I cannot explain. I'll take a picture of it and I'll send it to you and it'll make sense.
Okay.
But my garage is a 1-car garage and it's a tight 1-car garage. Like you got to pay attention to what you're doing, right? You can't be fucking around or you'll fuck your car up.
Right.
On the wall that's adjacent to my studio here, there's brackets put up with a wooden shelf. It's about, I don't know, maybe a 2 foot wide, 2.5. It's a solid piece of board. It's not going anywhere, right? It weighs a fucking ton.
Yeah.
I woke up one morning and I have like paint cans and de-icer for the winter and a tarp up there. And mostly it's just like paint cans and a bunch of stuff that you would use in the wintertime, right?
Yeah.
Every one of those fucking things was on the ground, on the garage floor. But not one of those things hit my car, including the board. The board was down too.
Wow.
So the board is laying right next to my recycle bin, which is like this far, about a foot from my car. But every other thing that was on top of that board and the board were on the garage floor. How none of that shit ever hit my car, it's impossible. Yeah, I can ding my car door. If I don't pull in far enough, I'll smack it against the recycle bin, right? It's plastic. It's not going to hurt anything. But that's how close it is to the wall and everything that's on along that wall. That's the only thing that's ever happened here. And I told Steele, I said, I made a public service announcement. I stood right in the middle of the garage and I was like, if you're not paying fucking rent here, you have no business here. If you are not providing any kind of positivity to this property here, you are not welcome here. Later. Never had another problem.
So the weird thing goes back and forth. Oh, go ahead.
The weird thing that happened to me, I think I've told you this story, is before I lived with Carrie, I started to, every night I'd lay down and I could feel something at the end of my bed and all around.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pressure.
We've had that. Yep.
So when her and I started living together, like I finally got up the courage. I'm like, do you feel that? And she's like, yeah. Whew. Okay. I'm not crazy. Somebody else experienced, just like you're experiencing this living in a haunted house with Nikki. At least you know you're not crazy, right? Something's happening.
Right.
And everybody admits to it. The weird thing is back in the day, nobody wanted to admit that shit.
No.
And then you had to suffer in silence, right? You're being tormented. Some people had mean ghosts, right? Or demonic spirits or whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Absolutely.
Some of that stuff is just undeniable. It just is.
Agreed.
And like I said, every fiber of my being says I don't want to believe in that kind of stuff because I just don't. But if we live in a multi-dimensional universe, how do you know that things aren't bleeding through, right? There could be so many explanations as to what's going on.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Sky has referenced like her husband, June, Michael Eugene Fry Jr. We just call him June for Junior. He has made reference to toys. He'll be in one of the rooms, and all of a sudden a toy just starts going across the floor.
In your
Our
house?
neighbors. No, in their house, on their side. Because we just think the ghost goes back and forth.
Too?
Yeah,
Oh,
we think the ghost goes back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
It took one of Anthony's toys. Like we couldn't find it forever. Like, I don't know, 6-7 months. And I had set it. I left to take him to school and I put it on the end table by the couch.
Before I forget, did you ever find the remote?
Okay.
From like 100 episodes ago?
No.
That
Still
remote just disappeared, went into the ether.
Yeah.
Now,
Still
here's
find
the
remote.
crazy thing. I told you about Mama Kay's makeup bag that showed up a year later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That'd be fascinating if you wake up one day and it's right where you thought it was all along. Because that's what happened to her.
Yeah. Because whatever it was that was his, because I put it on the table, the coffee table, not the coffee table, but the couch table, the table by the couch, the end table. when I came home to put stuff away, it was gone. I was like, well, that's weird, you know. And so I thought he just did something with it. And then the next morning he asked for it. I was like, well, don't you have it? And so long story short, that came back. I think 6 months later, it was just there. I forget what it was, but
That's what happened to
we were
her.
moving
She
something. Yeah,
asked.
it was just there.
Of course, she asked my dad, you know, hey, did you move this? Because you got to ask the person you live with. And he's like, why would I do that?
Right.
And that's what she
Yeah.
expected him to say. And she's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
it's gone. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
She woke
Yeah,
up,
that's weird.
a year or two later, and bam, there it was. That's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange.
How does that kind of shit happen?
I don't know. Cause when our neighbors to the east, no, I'm sorry, to the west, the good neighbors, they watched our house when we went on a cruise last year, and they came over one day, and all the bar stools that were tucked underneath the kitchen island were all out and spread out. Like just, they weren't tucked in. They were all out. So their son, Waylon, like turned around, went and got Jenna, and she's like, you know, so then when I went to pay him to give money for Waylon for watching the house, then his dad, Jason, started telling me that Jenna had a ghost when they were dating, and some weird shit went down and stuff had gone down in his house to where the ghost actually pulled, I forget if it was Jenna's grandmother or Jason's grandmother, pulled the grandmother off the couch. They had cleaned up another event. They had cleaned up all the toys and stuff, put it away. Jason got up in the middle of the night because he couldn't sleep. And as he was walking through the living room, he started stepping on toys. And he's like, what, you know, like, we cleaned all this up. What the hell? So we think maybe that when we bought the house, we tore it apart. Like, you could walk in our front door and it was just frame and wood. You know, the exterior was there, but
All
like,
the way down to the studs.
Right. The windows were open all the time because it was summer. We were airing out all the debris and stuff. So we think maybe the ghost got pissed and went to their house for a while, or got tired of being that house and then came over to us because we were kind of open. And then
But for the most part, you have a friendly ghost,
since.
right?
We do. Yeah. There's nothing. I mean, it's weird. It takes stuff. There's things that just randomly disappear and you can't figure out where they are. You know, Nikki's like legit. One of her favorite pair of jeans is just gone. Like, it's gone, and we've looked and then
That's
you go
what
through
happened.
and you clean shit.
That's what happened to my aunt at a house that she lived in. I won't say where or which one, but yeah, she had the same problem. She had a nice ghost too, though. It took things at times, and it did weird shit. Like, I was spending the night there one time, and I walked in the bathroom, and the toilet just flushed for me, like right as soon as I was done.
That's crazy, man.
It would flip lights on and off.
That's absolutely crazy. I got distracted because I heard little man out front. He's practicing riding his bike, and because we have a security camera, I can actually see him practicing riding his bike. That's pretty cool.
Is he on a straight two-wheeler now?
He's got two-wheel. He's on a two-wheeler, but he's got training wheels, right? You know, because it'll take him a little while to get his balance and stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's go back to why musicians are essential to culture. Number 2 is the rich emotions. You get to interact with people sharing the music with individual love. How Mike and I met.
That's my favorite
there.
part. Yes. A 30-year friendship was born instantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right there.
And that's happened to me more
that's-
often than not. Just like we're bitching about, not bitching, we're complaining about Tony because we want him on the show for his knowledge.
Right.
It was the same way with him, man. I would have just really long conversations over lunch and breaks and whatever, while we were at Guitar Center. When you have a common interest like that, and music is not just a common interest, it's a way of life, Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Personal identity. The music we love becomes part of our story as individuals.
I think we just covered that as well.
We did. And then the collective history, how songs capture the spirit of eras and give voice to cultural shifts. That kind of is really on point, because if you look at the decades you look at every single decade, right? The music's different.
For sure.
The styles are different.
Yeah, right now I'm training a kid that's only 20 years old, and some of the songs he knows that I play, and some bands I'll be just fascinated that he doesn't know who they are. You know?
Right. Yeah. That's the fascinating thing about music, man, for sure.
But then you have bands like, and this has always fascinated me, talk about paranormal. Why does Led Zeppelin never sound old?
Yeah, well, we talked about how they purposely recorded the way they did.
They
so
have
would never
transcended
be-
time, for sure.
Mhm. They have, because it doesn't matter what Zeppelin song comes on. You don't feel like that's from the 60s and 70s
No,
at all.
I don't think
Like,
that's ever
at
been
all.
replicated.
I don't think
The
so either. I mean, you can
The
like,
recording
I don't-
quality is what
Mhm.
I'm talking about, right?
yeah,
The fact
yeah.
that he was able to capture on tape timeless music, literally. Steele agreed with that. Him and I had this conversation.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I've always thought about that too. He'll have the 60s and then he'll flip over to the 70s, like when he's driving back and forth to wherever he's going.
Sure.
And he said, you know, I thought the same thing. I'll hear a Zeppelin song come on and it just doesn't sound old. It just sounds like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, and that's an amazing compliment to that band, that they just sound like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Think about
because I
that.
think Jimmy Page, one of his goals was exactly what I just said, right? He wanted to create music that transcended generations, time.
Yeah, I
Mission
agree
accomplished.
with that 100%. Yeah, for sure. So now this is a fun one.
Okay.
This is a quick health facts you didn't know that you sent me.
I knew you would like this.
So yawning, I never knew about this. Yawning cools your brain by up to 3 degrees Fahrenheit in under a minute. Yawning.
Nor did I. That's one that I was like, no shit.
Now, what's
My
funny
brain must
about
be really
yawning-
hot because I got to yawn a lot.
What's funny about yawning is I can't completely yawn to completion since my neck surgery, since I had the mishap.
Explain.
Like well, okay, when you yawn, right? You get to the
Yeah.
end of the yawn, right?
Okay.
I don't
Where
get
you're
to
going,
the end of the yawn.
"Oh."
I'll get right there and then it just stops.
You
Like, I
never
can't
get the
pop my-
satisfaction of the
I
completion
can't.
of
Not since neck
No
surgery.
shit.
Not since I had the issue with the incision swelling up and knocking the lymph nodes, and I've never been able to yawn since. So I can't yawn to pop my ears. My ears will just pop randomly. I'm like, holy shit, I can hear again.
That's terrible.
It sucks flying. It sucks flying because I have to
I
chew gum
bet.
the entire flight, and then I don't realize my ears are unpopped until like, I don't know, 2-3 days later. I'll just do something, all of a sudden, click. I'm like, oh shit, I can hear. It's amazing. So yeah,
Oh, that
it's,
sucks, dude.
yeah, it does suck, and then I don't know how to fix it. So, eventually I have to go get this next one fixed. So maybe it'll reverse that.
If there's any doctors out there listening and can help Chris with his problem, send us an email at Chris and Mike Show
Right.
or at Gmail.
It's christianmikeshow@gmail.com. I knew this one. I knew number 2, chewing celery burns more calories than it contains, so it has a negative calorie effect. I knew that. I knew eating
Yeah, I've
celery
heard
burns more calories than it assumes. Yeah.
That
I've heard this one
too.
too. I've heard this one too about smelling rosemary, how it boosts your memory by 15% in just minutes. That's a very interesting one. And we have a lot of rosemary, but I've never actually tried it. So I should try it one day.
Start snorting a little rosemary.
Right. It's nice when I trim it, because I have it around the front of the house. When I trim it, I've been
smells good.
inhaling like crazy. It does. And we make rosemary. We use rosemary from our garden for chicken. So it's great. Beet juice. I'm not a big fan of beet juice, but it acts like a natural blood pressure pill, lowering it by at least 10 points.
My Grammy loved beets. I never understood the fascination.
Then here's this one. Standing on one leg builds balance plus core strength equal to 10 sit-ups.
I heard you, but repeat that.
Balancing on one leg
Okay.
builds balance and core strength equal to 10 sit-ups.
But it doesn't say for how long. That's why I had you repeat
It doesn't say for how long. It does not
Okay.
say for how long.
So if I just
I'm
do it
just
for
doing
2
this.
seconds, I did 10 sit-ups. I'm going to
No,
get swole.
Okay, so I'm on one leg right now. Okay, so it's 4. See, here's the problem. You got to balance. You got to balance. Okay.
Well, that was part of the instruction, balancing on one
Yeah.
leg.
I was trying to do it properly getting off screen. Okay, so there. I'm balancing. I'll balance till we're on this. Eating chili peppers speeds metabolism by 23% for up to 2 hours, which would be great if you like chili peppers, because I don't. Chili peppers give me heartburn.
Yeah. If
Okay.
you get heartburn, chili peppers are not for you.
Right. Number 7, humming for 5 minutes boosts nitric oxide, improving airflow 15 times.
Everybody's like, shut the fuck up.
I'm gonna hum and stand.
Yeah.
Cold showers increase dopamine levels by 250%.
Just cold therapy
crazy.
alone is so good for you.
Right.
It releases cold shock proteins into your body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, what's dopamine do?
Dopamine? That makes
what
you
does
happy.
dopamine do? Oh, okay.
That's what everybody's looking for, is the dopamine drop. That's what,
Okay.
addicts are looking for,
okay.
is that
Gotcha.
feeling.
Gotcha. Laughing with friends triggers endorphins that raise tolerance by 10 to 15%. Tolerance to what?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't say. Hydrogen-rich water neutralizes something.
I would say tolerance
trips.
to other people in general.
Okay. Yeah. I had to unstep my because it says the hydrogen-rich water.
Uh-oh.
What are you crying for, Trip? Trip's crying. I don't know.
He's not
Trip,
happy.
something's wrong with Trip, man. No, he's not. He hasn't been. He's been sick for a couple days, and he hears me talking. Hydrogen-rich water neutralizes something, but I can't tell what it neutralizes because there's something over it.
I don't think I cared about that one because I was like, where the fuck are you
good.
going to get hydrogen-rich water?
Right. And then, I put that down. That's a little wacky. And then slow breathing lowers your blood pressure by 8 to 10 points.
I knew that
active,
one too. I listened to the whole podcast.
Active vagazone. So that's the I have activity by my office window.
Are you being spied on?
What's up, bobblehead?
Chris is being spied on, ladies and gentlemen.
Anthony, come here. I'm podcasting, man. I can't get Trip over here because then Trip's gonna want me to pick him up and hug him and stuff. So don't tell Trip you hear me, okay? Okay. I see you riding your bike though. You're doing a good job.
Life lessons being handed down right here live on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Life lessons.
Yep. Life lessons.
I like it.
20 things you should never share with your kids. Adult relationship problems.
What do you
protect their sense of security?
I want to know how you feel about each one of these. Because
so
I never
think that's
raised
bullshit.
kids. Okay, tell me why.
So I think that's bullshit. Because I think that your children need to understand that life isn't perfect.
Agreed.
The ups and downs, the ebb and flows. They need to understand that not everything is a fairy tale, because that's what you see online. We've talked about it before, right? Oh, Skip and Stacy, perfect little life, and then all of a sudden everything's positive, and now all of a sudden the Skip and Stacy
and
get
even
divorced,
before
and it's,
social media,
brutal.
was that not the portrayal that people tried to get
Ozzy and
people to see
Harriet,
on
right?
the outside? Yeah, thank you. And on the inside, things were chaos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I
wanted people to hear your opinion, because I think more about. I think that's more the way to raise children in reality, right? They'll be more prepared for the world if they use your approach in that life is not all roses. Right. That's how my parents were too. Right. They were honest with us about, they didn't tell us the horror part of it. They just said things are not good right now. We have to do X, Y, and Z, right?
Right. And that's number 2. Right. And that's number 2, the financial worries. I agree that you shouldn't carry that down to your children because you don't need them stressing. But kids hear everything, and they listen when you don't think they're listening. And some of the stories that I hear from teachers, because I'm married to one, the children's opinions that some of them will state are too old for them to state. Meaning they're hearing it at home from mom and dad, and they think it's relevant to, 6th grade or 5th grade. And it's not. It has nothing to do with it. But they're honing in on that and bringing those opinions that are not always positive. We'll say. You know, I can't really think. I can think of one, but I'm not going to share it because it would bring up if it would bring up the situation that yeah. And if anybody's listening to this that, you know, knows us and knows the events and stuff, it's cool. And it's nothing bad. It's just an opinion of something that a child was sharing. It was one of those like step back, like, what'd you say? Like, what? So,
like,
you know,
a
it was
little
from the
too
parents.
adult.
Yes. Way too adult for an 11-year-old.
One of the best
11-year-old
people that I listen to, you know, like for a lengthy period of time, which is the only way that I'll accept someone's opinion, is if I've listened to him for more than a couple hours, right?
Right.
And most of the podcasts I listen to are long form. So this guy basically said exactly what you just said. And then he followed up with, you talk to children about reality at their level, right? You don't tell a 5-year-old, we're going to lose our house. You just say that we can't afford to buy that doll for you, right? We're just not in a position to be able to do that right now. Something like that, right?
It's so I had this is you'll like this. So I have a friend from Rotary that he runs a retirement home. Okay. Memory care
phone there, dude.
Okay. So I have a friend who runs a retirement facility from, you know, just I'm retired. I shouldn't say retired, but the older generation that can no longer live alone, you know, so whether it's
assisted living kind of deal.
Right. There you go. So assisted living from don't need a lot of help all the way to holy smokes, your memory care. So he was sharing one day at Rotary about how you deal with the memory loss things. Okay. So let's just paint a picture. 20 years from now, I'm cuckoo. Okay. I wake up in a minute. No, well, this is where I'm going with this.
Nuts, dude. Can I tell you? Because I've known you now for 65 years.
Right. Well, this is the interesting.
Just sit down. You know how to do this.
This is the interesting thing. No, you're good. But this is the interesting thing about it. So I wake up and I'm knee deep in Alzheimer's. And I think it's 1993, and I'm going to the Mason Jar to play a show. Right.
Sweet.
Like legit, that could happen
mentally.
Right. So, So legitimately that can happen. So as I'm walking around the memory care place, I'm looking for my mic stand. I'm looking for my gear for the show. And I run into a staff member. Now the staff member has two options. They can be like, Chris, you're 75 years old, man. You've lost your marbles.
2071.
Right. Whatever the case may be. Or you say, you know what, Chris, let me help you find that. Remember where you had your mic last? Well, yeah, I had it at the last show. We loaded it up in my truck. Oh, well, it's probably out back in your truck. Let's go find your truck. So they engage in we'll call it a hallucination or the memory, because it's not as detrimental as saying, no, dude, you're in memory care. Like that was 50 years ago. You have no idea what you're talking about. You lost your mind.
There's no point in doing that because it's not going to help that person in that situation at that moment in time.
Right. So, and then it dawned on me what the story he shared was. A woman got up and, you know, 90 years old, said she was pregnant. So you'd be like, well, it's physically impossible. You're not pregnant. But they played along with her being pregnant because that's where she was at the time. That's where she was in her mind. And they played it out. So it was a safe thing and it was done. They've done stuff with, you know, they wake up looking for my wife. Well, your wife passed like 10 years ago, but you're not going to tell them that because then all this emotional sorrow is going to just compounding down on that person. So, well, where was she last? So they kind of, it's playing into the memory.
I completely agree with
yes,
that process.
Without
and along those lines, I just read a study they completed a study. I just read the article that psilocybin, when even used in moderation, will prevent Alzheimer's by up to 50%. It's been proven.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about stuff.
Rewires your neural pathways.
Yeah. We've talked about you're not going to the same route for work, because I never do anymore. I go there and come back different when I go to the office. every time because it keeps you kind of alert and stuff. So, little thing. And then it's just how I live my life. There's so many different things I'll read every now and then, like, oh, I do that, I do that, I do that. So,
just music does the same thing.
True.
It basically keeps your mind. Well, music is one of the only activities that you're ever going to do that uses both sides of your brain at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Number 3, negative talk about the other parent. Yeah. Never, ever, ever.
Agreed with that one. And 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
There is no other option.
No. Your fears or insecurities. I can see how they learn the confidence from the parent, but at the same time, I don't know if we ever really shared fears and insecurities.
But I think you were probably vulnerable around your children, right?
To some level, it's to some
more
level,
so than a normal parent that I would think of. I would imagine.
Right. Gossip about others, never gossip, never, because it's
a waste of fucking
That's a
time.
big thing. That's a big thing in the world today, right? Because you have the two-faced people, the mean girls, right? And then just the people that who they are, because they're going to, if somebody talks shit to you about somebody else, then 9 times out of 10, as soon as you turn around and walk away, they're going to talk shit about you to somebody else.
100%. And then if you go one step further, my other favorite adorable people are the ones that say, I really hate when people talk about other people. And then that's all they fucking do all day long. But they don't realize it. That's how oblivious they are.
Yeah. So that's one of those things. If somebody's in your life talks shit about other people to you, be mindful of the fact they're doing the same thing to you when you're not around.
Damn right they are.
Which is disappointing,
and I'm guilty. I try so hard not to do that. So if I do,
to be honest with you, I don't really talk shit about anybody. I mean, I'll talk shit about my neighbors to the east, but that's usually just with Nikki. So
I
they're
think
the assholes
most of the time that you and I are talking shit about people, it's well deserved. Right?
Yeah.
They've done something that shouldn't be done. That now we're doing a public service announcement.
Right, kind of like how the public's opinion of Cam Scadaboo, participating in Monday Night Raw, and he's getting lit up for that. So he blasted back to them, basically. For those of you who don't know, Cam Scadaboo is a running back for the Giants who his ankle was like this and it went like that, so he's out for the year. But he's making this immense progress. Well, about 10 of the New York Giants showed up at Monday Night Raw. I don't know if you've seen this or not, Mike.
I have not.
But so they placate, the little scripted thing. They come up and the wrestlers are giving crap to the Giants fans. Well, you haven't won a Super Bowls in how long? And, there's some pushing and stuff. And then one of the Giants players behind him launches one of the other players. And, it creates all this rub because why is Cam Scadaboo, who's on injury reserve, in a Monday Night Raw skit? Well, number one, he was in the crowd. He was just in the front row. He didn't really do anything but get face to face with the guy. So he didn't physically do anything that was real, because then they were throwing punches and stuff, which we all know wrestling punches are not real. It was more like a photo op, right? It was a skit.
Yeah.
All it was a skit. But people being people, and because they can't just step back and realize it's wrestling, it's not real. Cam's like, look, for those of you who's hating on me, go ahead and unfollow me, move along with your life, because
that's my attitude.
I've done nothing in my life but play football, and I have fun playing football. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm injured and I can't play football. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do to help curb that desire to have fun in his crazy little fun way.
He wasn't doing anything to try to injure himself.
No. So he's basically like, read between the lines, people.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, stop following me. You're not going to hurt my feelings, and have a nice day.
Right. 100%. It's my life.
I mean, granted, he is a public, right. I mean, granted, he is now a public figure. I know. Believe me, I know.
I'm on your side.
But it's still it's nuts, man. Let's see. Work issues. My kids understood what I did for a living. Deep work issues. Home should feel peaceful, but with what I do for a living, I don't have 9 to 5. So they knew that when my phone rang, they had to be quiet. They knew that I had to answer my phone, but that's why I had the rule I didn't answer after 7 or on Sundays, because that was family time.
Sure.
So they understood that. They respected that. But, and I would still get looks, as they're growing up. I'm on the phone, come on, Dad. And I'd be like, I know. Give me a minute. I'm fine. Trust me. You know,
Kids are kids. They don't understand everything.
right. But then they learn, you know.
Sure.
Private medical matters, I don't agree with. Yeah. Private medical matters, I don't agree with. I think you need to be transparent with your children if there's something medical that's an issue. Like they knew when my neck was messed up.
I would.
They knew when I had my issues. You know what I mean? Because if you just wake up one day and your dad and mom or dad are gone because they had a health issue that you didn't share, well, really? Prep them. I'm going for surgery. Yeah.
To me, man, there's so many families that just spend so much time saying, we don't talk about this, we don't talk about that, right? It's like, well, if you had taken the time to talk about it, you might be a closer family. That's all I'm going to say. I didn't raise a family, but I did grow up in a family. And the reason we're still a family is because we talked about things, right? We went through bad things together. We didn't separate from each other.
Nope. Exactly. Childhood trauma. I didn't share with my kids my childhood trauma till they were well into their adults age. I told Jake about it maybe 2 years ago. Right. Because you don't, and yeah, because childhood trauma is a hard thing to share, and everybody has to deal with their traumas and their PTSD in their own way. So I agree with that. Like your childhood traumas need to stay within you until you think your kids, until it's relevant to share with your kids. And if there's a relevancy to it, then by all means, but don't just do it just to satisfy your own. It's that old thing, where when you go tell somebody bad news, are you telling somebody bad news because you want to get it off your chest or because you want to shift the ownership of that bad news? Like if you're having an affair, like I've heard this before where, husband and wife one of them's having an affair and then he goes and tells, the wife tells the husband, I've been cheating on you for 10 years with so-and-so. Is she telling you that because she's tired of carrying the guilt? Or is she telling you that because she really wants to help you understand, hey, so
right.
That kind of stuff. There's a time and place for it, but it needs to be relevant to the conversation, just not a random thing. And I won't go down the path of how ours came up, but it did, and I shared it, and there you go. Inappropriate jokes or explicit content. I agree with that. I don't, because your kids are sponges, and they're gonna the next one is angry political opinions. Those two things.
See,
right
now
there,
that's
your
where
kids
you
are
and
gonna,
I probably would have parted ways had I raised kids, because I just feel like words are just noises that come out of your mouth. That's all the more power that I've ever given them, right? So here's how I would have handled it, especially if you're going to grow up in a musician's household, right?
Right.
Fuck is an adjective. It just is.
Right.
Now I work in a factory. Fuck is an adjective.
Right.
It just is.
Right.
My whole life has been surrounded by people who say the word fuck all day long. Forever.
Right.
So I would handle
inappropriate.
it like this.
I didn't say inappropriate words. I said inappropriate jokes. It wasn't words. It was jokes.
To me, you know me, dude. I have a fucking gallows sense of humor. So if you're gonna live around me, I'm going to say the most inappropriate thing at the most inappropriate time, because that's how I deal with. Especially if someone died, I'm not the person you want around.
No,
because the only way I know how to deal with grief is
laughter.
to laugh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is so inappropriate to most people. But I feel like I've done the best I can to everybody while they're here. So God forbid somebody I love dies while I'm sad. I feel like I did the best I could at that point in my life, right? At keeping a positive relationship, keeping in touch, letting them know that I care about them, those kind of things. I don't have any regrets. We're all going to die. I'm hyper aware of that. It's so crazy how relevant a lot of things that we talk about are. I literally just had this conversation. I spend so much time by myself because I literally do not look at the world the same way as everybody else. And most people say, oh yeah, neither do I. I'm like, you have no idea how wrong you are.
Right.
You have bought into society and the system. I never did. I've tried to rebel against it since day one. I participate as an actor every day, but I'm hyper aware that we only get to live once, more so than probably anybody ever, because most people live in their past, which blows me away, which is how this conversation came up. I'm like, you have no idea what a waste of fucking time that is. You can't change any of that. And to steal a quote from Joe about drinking, you're literally every day robbing your fucking future by living in these mistakes that you made that you can't correct. You can only go forward, right?
Yeah.
Had I given up on life and
absolutely.
said, because I was a drug addict, I'm always going to be a failure, I would have always been a failure.
Right.
If you've had failed relationships and you're afraid to have another relationship, you're stuck there too. You're going to live there forever. That was my point, right?
Yeah.
You're robbing from every fucking day going forward. I'm thinking about what's our next show? What's our next move?
Right.
What am I going to do musically? What's my next schedule look like? Yesterday, to quote however you said that, yesterday is gone. Yeah. Yesterday doesn't understand
yesterday is just an illusion tackling today's quest for tomorrow's dreams.
Yes.
There you go.
That's it, man.
Yeah,
I'm fascinated at how much stock people put into, I'm going to be here tomorrow and I'm never going to make those same mistakes because I'm never going to give that situation a chance again, whatever it may be.
Yep. No,
that's why people are failing. That's why you're not Jeff Bezos. You want to know why Jeff Bezos is Jeff Bezos? Because he always thought about tomorrow.
Yep.
What are you telling Jake?
Complaints? Yeah. Well, no, I've told Jake and Sky. I've had conversations like I'm 55 years old. Like, you know, I'm not going to be around forever. You know, and it's getting to that. Like we were watching something the other night, and this character on Nurse Jackie. I don't know why it hit me. It was weird. It was the character Halling from Northern Exposure, but he came into the hospital. He was basically should have been in hospice and he wasn't. He didn't want to go to hospice, didn't want to do it. But that, for whatever reason, that moment of that character being in the hospital bed, it hit me like, fuck. You know, it's like, wow, okay.
We're all going to die.
I don't want to, I know, but and you know me with that, dude. We're terminally ill, but it's just, for whatever reason, that scene with him, it hit me like I've never been hit with it before. Like, yeah, I don't want to be in a hospital bed when I die. Like, just
fuck no.
It was weird. Part of it because I think he was an alcoholic. He was 22 years clean, and they wanted to give him morphine. He's like, I'm not taking any morphine, and he's, you know, I'm clean till the day I die. Like, and the guy's like, look, man, like, I understand that, but you got this much time,
right?
You know, so it's
I just want to go to bed and never wake up.
Right, that would be the best way. Or die while you're having sex. Both of you die at the same time, you know, right at climax. You both just...
yeah, because otherwise it's going to be super freaky for the other person.
Yeah, it would be. It would be. Yeah.
That would even traumatize me.
Complaints about parenting. We never, you know,
You guys are a united
for us.
front.
Yeah, exactly. Secrets that weigh heavy. We didn't, I don't think we had any secrets. Legal or family disputes, never had any of those. We never played the comparison thing, like keeping up with the Joneses. We didn't have that mindset. We never criticized teachers or friends Nikki and I will have those conversations now, but our kids are out of the house, and it's not so much criticizing. It's just, you know, like we talk about the neighbors that are assholes, right?
Sure.
Regrets in our life. We don't really talk. I've shared with both the kids, you know, if I could do certain things different, you know, I would over the years, because I think everybody has something they would do differently if looking back on it, but it's not.
And
it's
that's
not,
it right there.
Right.
You're not living in your past. You're just saying, I was young. If I was to do this over again, here's how I do it. And in your case, you've probably done those same things differently, maybe 3 different times.
Well, and just to point that how the conversation I had with Jake a couple weeks ago, it's he's going to be 8.5 years in the Marines if he decides to get out. I'm like, dude, you're 8.5 years in. That's a year and a half from a decade, and then it's only 11.5 years from a career. I'm like, do you really want to get out and have to start a career all over again with day one and go 20 years?
You know what I would tell him right now? To tell you how fast time goes.
Well, I've told him. I'm like, dude, by the time you get out, you're 38. Yeah, 38.
I feel like I just moved back here, dude, and I'm 15 years into another career.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm trying to get him to understand, that because of what he does in the Marines right now, it's cake. He wants to go back to drill instructor school and finish what he started, which I'm like, by all means, go do that. And when he does that, by the time he finishes that, it'll be 12 and a half years. So it's like, you might as well just stay, because if you make sergeant, staff sergeant, or gunny sergeant, you're untouchable, because you're the non-com, and nobody will touch you. You're just going to coast. And then I have a friend I've known since I was 15 that's in the Navy, that's planning his retirement. He's going to move back here, go up to Flagstaff. And so that's how kind of the conversation started, because he started telling me what he was doing. So I started picking his brain. How does that work with the military and whatnot? And it's kind of like with teachers, your last 3 years of whatever your pay is, that's what you get. So
Yep.
if you're making $5,000 in the military and you go retire, you get $2,500. And then Jimmy explained, the disability stuff. So you chart every little thing that happens to you, rightfully so, because you're out there, your body's being destroyed. But all the little nuances that you deal with, from tinnitus to, torn ACL, ruptured, all the things you can do right in the military, because it's unforgiving, physically demanding. And so you keep track of all that stuff. Then you can get your disability. Like, you could make $2,500 a month from regular pension, but then another $5,000 that's tax free from disability, from all the little nuances that you dealt with while you were there. So you're all of a sudden $7,000 at 38 years old, with your entire life ahead of you.
I can think of 2 people off the top of my head that I don't want to talk about. I'll tell you off the air, but both of them are. One of them basically lived their whole life, did whatever they wanted, because they did exactly what you're trying to advise Jake to do. He got a full pension out of the military, the Army specifically. And the other person that I can think of, I went to school with, and he went all the way, man. He retired as a full colonel. So look up what they make as a fucking pension. And he earned every penny of it, right? He gave 30 some years of his life to the United States. Thank you for your service.
And so that's the advice. That's the thing. Hey, if I go back in time some, this is what I would have done different from that
At
level.
38 years old, he can do whatever he wants for the rest of his life, because he's always going to have money rolling in.
Exactly.
Hard-earned money.
And that's, but still.
You're 38 years old. You're a young man.
Well, and 38, when he's 38, is going to be like 28, right? Because
that's what I'm saying.
When I was a kid, 55, I'm moving into the retirement facility. I'm dead in 10 years. I'm 55.
When you and I started Nemesis, we didn't trust anybody over 40. They were old fucking people.
Yes.
It's so
over
funny.
The hill, man. Over the hill, man.
People. Scott thought he was old because he was like 27 or 28 at the time. He's like, I'm going to be dead before the band gets off the ground.
Yeah. All right. So then we got... where are we at? Okay. So envy or bitterness. We never really played that game, because we never were those type of people, But
a lot of couples go back and forth. I love you. I hate you. I love you. I hate you.
Yeah.
Kids see that.
Yep. The negative self-talk or body shaming.
There's a lot of that goes on in households.
And then blaming them for stress, and there's a little bit of truth to that last one. Like, there's some stuff that we dealt with that I didn't blame anybody, but you have that when you I don't know how to explain it. The family member that struggled, and then you adapt your life to help that family member, but then you realize, okay, I just gave up this life that I was working for, because I had to make sure that person could be successful. So it's kind
of like you had to take a time out, so to speak.
Right. So it's not an intentional blame, but you still, because you're human, there's still a little ounce of resentment. So when they do something that you don't necessarily agree with, that kind of stirs up that emotion. It's like, what the hell? Why are you doing that? Why can't you just be grateful for what we did? Or, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and that's not, and it's truly,
that is the human element for sure.
Right. So it's truly not who I am. And it's like, but that's part of that dynamic that.
I think a lot of times people forget that as a human being, we're an animal as well, right? We're a mammal. Yeah. So we still have an animal instinct. We still have that DNA in our coding.
Right.
Chris knows I'm such a nerd that I've researched this stuff down to the nub, right? To the point of why people do what they do. And that's it. Yeah. He just described, that's not who I am. But sometimes you have to understand, you can't stop those emotions. And I have ways that I deal with them, right? I'll crank my guitar up to 11 and jam for an hour. But Instead, most people let those things fester and build up, and then their kids suffer because of it. I think that's where that statement comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you were like,
Exactly.
time out. I love this person.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do to dissuade these emotions? And in your case, I'm sure at the time you went and fucking ran.
Right. Right. But that's, yeah. So that's the thing that you just, we're all human. So just recognize the human aspect of your life and, roll with it because, nobody's supposed to be perfect. And that's the biggest problem I think a lot of people have. They think you have to be perfect as a parent, and you don't. You're not raising perfect children. You're raising children. You're raising damaged goods because nobody's flawless, right? Nobody's perfect. And if you try to raise a perfect child, you're going to do the complete opposite, and they're going to rebel against that and go down dark paths because nobody can be perfect.
Yep.
You have to let them kind of be. We've learned a lot and hanging out now with Tripp and Anthony. It's weird, the dynamic of approaching of things with them. And then you start watching Skylar and how she's a mother and how she's a wife, and we see things that she picked up from watching us. And we have that rarity nowadays, right? Because it's hard to find somebody that's been together as long as we have, especially with me going through alcoholism for a while, and
sure,
and then dealing with the family struggle we had for a while, because those things can tear people apart because we've seen it. I'm like, we've seen that. You see it all the time. It's easier to play the blame game and walk away and start over and hit reset than it is to just suck it up and fucking deal with it and create a stronger, deeper bond with your spouse because you went through that together.
There's so few people willing to put forth that kind of effort nowadays, though.
Right. It is, because that's why we were talking to Steph Conger, remember? It's 2 years, the happiness of the relationship starts fading away on 2 years and 1 day. And the average marriage is 3.5 years because they spend the next 18 months either trying to figure it out or arguing with each other. So they hit that 18th month, which is a 3.5 year mark, and like, I'm out. I'm just done. I can't do it anymore. But that's the vicious cycle that you see now. And more people are doing that instead of just stepping back and hey, let's work through this. Let's build something that's going to last.
Or here's a crazy idea. Let's just talk every day so that we don't ever get to that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So many people just don't talk.
Uh-huh. Nope.
I have friends.
Yeah,
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I have friends who talk to me independently of each other, right?
Right.
And both of them know that. Well, not both of them, but I actually have several sets of friends that I know both couples, right?
Right.
And the amount of things that they don't talk about together without giving away any of their secrets just fucking fascinates me, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make me want to stay single. It makes me understand why I'm single. Because I am we've discussed this. I'm so different than everybody else that I'm not going to spend time arguing about fucking nonsense, right? We're either a united front and we're together against the world. And what I mean by that is we're going to work out our shit first and then worry about anything, an outside influence, right?
And that's the approach that should be. And that's the approach that we took as we raised our kids.
Which in my opinion is why you guys were successful.
Probably. And same with your parents.
Yes.
Same thing. It's the people that write it out and go through. And again, I've said this before, like Nikki and I are very unique in the fact that we've had really one bad year of the entire time we were together, and it was because of my drinking. And it may have been 2 years, but I don't really remember, if it was 12, 24 months of that. But aside from that, we never really argue. We have disagreements. Yeah. We don't yell at each other. We've never really,
that's so
except for the one time, which the next day I woke up, something's got to change. That's when I stopped drinking, but I recognized it.
Sure. And there was an outside influence. That's not you. You're not a violent person.
Right. And I was never violent as an alcoholic. I was functional. I did my job. But so if you take a relationship on a whole, we had one real rocky year because of my drinking. We had another little rocky year when her brother died, and there was a little bit of guilt there, I think, because he wanted to come live with us. And she didn't think it was right to have him come live with us because of just, he was a party animal and stuff. And I had stopped drinking by then, and and then unfortunately within I think a month he ended up passing away from just terrible, tragic single car accident type thing. So I think she carried guilt with that for about a year because you know, why wouldn't you? I mean, it's human nature. I told him, no, he can't come, and now he's dead. Not her fault. She couldn't control the circumstances around it. She had actually nothing to do with how he passed away. He never even expressed bitterness because of that. It wasn't the right time in her eyes to allow that to happen. And I respect that. But I think she carried guilt with her for a year with that. So it wasn't a bad year, but she was just off that whole year. And you could just tell there was sorrow and pain, and Nikki's not one to really talk about things. So you got to kind of pull stuff out of her. And if she wants to talk, she will. If she doesn't, you don't. And you respect that because you just do. Right.
We probably have a lot of that in common. It's like,
yeah.
So if I don't think you need to know, I'm probably not going to tell you.
Right. So it's one of those things that you just step back and love them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here, you know.
But that's what you're willing to do instead of, you know, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't be over there sulking or, you know.
Yes.
Now you're just compounding her problem, right? Because you're talking to an introvert and now you're telling them that either there's nothing wrong or you're going to talk about it, which is impossible for them at the time.
Yep. Agreed.
It just fascinates me why it's so hard for people who claim to love each other to not put forth the effort that you just described, right? You took the time to understand this is how that person is. That's what you have to do. You have to be willing. You didn't understand overnight that she was introverted, and at those moments in time, she's not willing to talk about certain things.
Right. Yeah.
It took time for you to say, okay, scratch my head. Well, it happened again. Okay.
Yeah. I
guess I'll just sit back and wait for her to come to me, right?
Yep. And that's the thing. You don't know. So, and the communication is communication.
Communication is completely necessary.
Yeah. You got to talk to people. It's
otherwise the flux capacitor and the whole thing just goes down the tubes.
Yep. It's that simple. Just talk to people. So we're going to wrap this up because I got to pee really bad.
Well, then that's a good time to wrap it up.
And I'm sure you got to go. It's, you know,
I'm hungry.
Go eat some food.
Oh yeah.
And so, you know, as we do with always, if you're feeling sad, depressed, suicidal, don't do it. You know, go scream in a pillow, go journal, go write, go run, go work out, go do something to change your mindset. If you can't find somebody to talk to, text 988. Everybody is sitting there waiting to help you talk you off that cliff, off that ledge. Tomorrow's a better day because you're in it. Someone does love you and they will miss you. So don't be that person that leaves a hole in somebody else's heart. He's Mike. I'm Chris. This is the Chris and Mike Show. And thank you for allowing us to spend time with you today because we know your time is valuable. We appreciate your presence. All 29 countries of you.
Yes, we do. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you all. To quote the great Ozzy, we love you all.
God bless you. We love you all. Peace out, everybody. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Okay, see you.
Peace.
Take a moment. the trend behind your eyes. Feel the soul revolutionize. Yeah. Take a moment